Welcome in to House of Horns. My name is Victor Corona, aka Victor Producer, and joining me as always is Gilbert Manzano, who does it for Sports Illustrated MMQB. Gilbert, the Rams outlast the Bills 44-42 in a great game, back and forth. A lot of offensive firepower in this game. You saw the Rams offense finally showed up. You had special teams ship in there with a touchdown as well. And then, of course, the defense had its struggles, but against a really good Bills team. So just right off the bat, just give me your takeaways from this win, an unexpected win. But I will point out, we did say that they needed to win a home game against either the Bills or the Eagles. They do so in good fashion here.
Yeah, I guess the first thing I'm gonna ask, maybe a question before I give you my takeaways. What the hell took so long? Where has this offense been at the whole year? And I get it's a big time victory, and I'm not the right person to wave the pom poms here, but I'm annoyed with this Rams team. This Rams team never shows us this type of football, all season, and then suddenly the Bills come in and you turn it on, and but that's the beauty of football. It's every single
Yes.
week. Every week is different, but me, who makes a living of making predictions and assessments, I was totally wrong on the Rams. That's why I'm annoyed selfishly here. Because yeah, you played the Eagles, you get beat down. You play the Dolphins, you lay an egg. You barely survive against New Orleans and New England, but here come the red hot Buffalo Bills, and you light them up with 44 points there. Uh, yeah, the defense wasn't very good, but the Rams are better this way. When you score points, a lot of points like that, and you have Stafford clicking with Puka, Cooper Cup, and Kyrie Williams, then you let your young defense make some plays, get some stops. This game was weird. Nobody had a sack in this game. I think I saw that
Yep.
threw me off there. So
Zero turnovers as well.
this is the right recipe. Have lean on the offense and then let the young defense make plays and have some crucial stops when the game's on the line. You don't want it the other way around where the defense is carrying the bad offense here because you have some ugly games. This way, you're just dangerous. And I just wrote right now. That's why I'm a little behind. I wrote the Rams are still dangerous and the Bills might still be pretenders because the way Buffalo got lit up, I got concerns about them. But I know we're going to be focusing on the Rams today. But who have the Bills really played in the last 8 weeks? And the Rams told us, hey, not so fast, Buffalo. And then last thing, such a weird season. All you got to do now, I know it's not easy, win out and you win the damn division. So pretty
Yeah.
easy for them, right?
Yeah, and our conversation that we had with Eric Williams, he mentioned, hey, if they win two of the next three, they're in position to win the division. Now you've taken care of business here by winning this game. Whatever happens with the Niners team on Thursday night on a short week, that's just bonus at this point because then you have to go to New York and the Jets, who just were just eliminated from the playoffs. With that loss to the Dolphins. So there's a lot to kind of like about this game, as you mentioned, Gilbert. But I want to point this out, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this. I was going through this game, and I said, you know, I think it was towards the end of the third quarter. I said to myself, if the Rams are going to win this game, it's going to come with the offense holding off the Bills offense. And I thought the biggest play or the biggest decision in this game, there was two, and I want your thoughts on it. The first one was McVay going for it on fourth down late in the game, which I thought was crucial.
Yeah.
The other one was Sean McDermott taking the penalty there to back them up again, and then the Rams connecting to Puka there, and then getting that first down, and then keeping the ball away. I thought that was crucial. And then the second one was Sean McDermott and the Bills running the ball on first and go there and wasting a timeout. I thought that was huge, which gave the Rams the win here. But great. I've been critical of McVay's, in terms of his clock management. I thought that was great, and his decision making was awesome in this game. And honestly, I thought Sean McDermott it crept back up. We've been talking about his decision making. I thought he's the one that pretty much cost the Bills the game.
Yeah, right there, Victor. You laid it out perfectly. This is why, when people say, oh, Sean McVay is a problem, Sean McVay needs to go, or Sean McVay needs to lose the play call. This is why I say not so fast. He's still one of the best coaches in the NFL for a reason. And this is why I always say not so bad, not so fast, Buffalo Bills, because you're a pretender because you are Sean McDermott, a couple of Sean McDermott plays away from losing the game. And I just don't trust Sean McDermott in the playoffs. I also don't trust. I know the defense has been playing, pretty well for most of the season, but who's coaching the defense? Sean McDermott. And today they got lit up pretty badly. Like Puka Nacua was a problem from the get go. So this is why every time the Bills were racking up victories, I couldn't get over the loss in Houston. I couldn't get over the loss to the Baltimore Ravens, and now the loss today. So, yeah, I was giving them the Bills credit because they won 7 games in a row. I got to give them credit eventually, but this is why I worry about them. And then with the Rams, it's so difficult to give up on them. And I got to the point where I lost my patience. I'm not the most patient person here, but I never put the blame on Sean McVay. It was more, okay, the defense has problems in the back end. Linebackers are a little bit of an issue here. And the offense can't get in sync. You can't protect Matthew Stafford, but they're always going to have somewhat of a chance because one, you have Sean McVay, you have a good one of the quarterbacks. One of the points that I liked from Eric Williams. Check out the interview. I think it still holds up even after a couple of days, because you guys talk big picture on MC West.
Yeah.
Eric Williams said when Matthew Stafford is on point on his game, you probably can't name maybe 3 quarterbacks you'd rather have when they're on the top of their game, besides Matthew Stafford. So you're always going to have a chance there. It's just I wasn't seeing it, and it started to feel like the 49ers were like, yeah, they have some similarities there, but they're not really doing it. But that sequence right there, Victor, in the fourth quarter, coaching matters. Coaching matters when you want to win these games. I did worry about them when they blew the 17-point lead or whatever the heck it was to make it closer. They didn't blow it, but it got pretty close there. But little small things like that to get a victory against a very good team at home when you needed it. And let's be real, like honestly, it was probably a must win because the Seahawks won again. They beat the Cardinals, who are
Yep.
done with the Cardinals or frauds or whatever. Get out of my life, Arizona. But Seattle and LA, they're probably coming down to the final wire here, and you probably have to win out before you play the Seahawks. In Week 18 might be Sunday Night Football. Winning, you're in NFC West title. But everything's right there, and the Seahawks refuse to lose, but it doesn't matter because everything's in front of you.
Yeah. And I mean, you have the Seahawks going up against the Packers. The Packers are trying
Mm.
to stay in line there with the Vikings as well. Just because they lost to the Lions doesn't mean that the Packers don't have anything to play for. So this division is still up for grabs, and there's a lot to take away. I would just, in terms of disagreeing with you, I just thought that, and you brought up a good point there. I thought Matthew Stafford and Josh Allen just were unbelievable. I don't think it would have mattered how good of a defense you had in this game. Those 2 guys were on point. I mean, Matthew Stafford was 23 of 30 for 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, and just the way he was, that's a good recipe to beat the Bills. If you have a really good quarterback, and the thing is even as you mentioned, how good of an interview that is with Eric Williams. He pointed out the Bills like playing, a small dudes out there like 6 DBs, 5 DBs. They did a great job of. It was a great game script of running the ball, play action. Honestly, like, and seeing Matthew Stafford get under center, especially late in the game, that really helped them. And I get it. I saw a lot of people complaining about some of the calls that the Rams got, but so did the Bills late in the game as well. So I'm, honestly, it was just a well designed game on both sides. You got to give Joe Brady a lot of credit, the offensive coordinator for the Bills, and Josh Allen. I mean, six touchdowns, 3 rushing, 3 on the through the air. I mean, like I said, that guy is a Terminator. If you can get a good defense from the Bills, this team is hard to beat, and they did it. They held on, and I thought they did a great job. The Rams did, and as it's what is this? This is the stat, Gilbert. Second game all time where 5 passing touchdowns, 5 rushing touchdowns, and no turnovers. So both of the
Mm.
quarterbacks were on point in this game.
Yeah, there was like 900 yards, total yards of 900, over 600 yards passing between the 2 quarterbacks here. So over 40 points on each side. So that it just, these offensive numbers are insane. And I'll say this: I don't want people saying, "Oh, the Bills fell to a trap game." Like, no, the Rams are in that victory. I think Josh Allen, and Sean McDermott knew what was up. They had to play their best here, and they couldn't do it defensively. And I'm getting to the point where I don't know what the hell's going to happen in the AFC. The Chiefs can't really. We'll see the Chiefs tonight against the Chargers, but
Right.
uh, You said it right there, Victor, how they play this defense and small DBs. Like that's why they got blown out by the Baltimore Ravens. And
Yeah,
I think the Rams probably watched that game tape pretty closely and kind of had something similar there with the play action, running with Kyron Williams. Honestly, when you set up Puka Nacua early in the games in the first quarter, you tend to win those games. Like, that game against Minnesota, I remember when people thought he was hurt and they gave him the ball right away. That set the tone. So I think Puka Nacua makes a big difference here. But going back to the Bills, we're going to find out a whole lot about them next week, too, when they play the Detroit Lions. Like, again, I don't believe in them. I don't believe in their defense. I don't believe in their coaching staff. I do believe in Josh Allen. I think he's definitely on a mission here. But you still got to go through Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Kansas City. The Chargers have a tough defense. So, now I'm not trying to knock the Rams here, but when you face more complete teams in the postseason, where you're not in a shootout, you get a couple more stops from good defenses. I just can't trust this team here. But I'm gonna stop picking a team. I don't know who to pick in the AFC. Over
yeah,
in the NFC, obviously, it looks like it's Detroit, Philadelphia, and Minnesota. But that's the thing with these Rams, man. Like, I know I'm not giving them too much credit, but if they find their way in, I'm going to start taking them seriously because they do have McVay, Stafford, Puka, Kyron, Jared Verse, and Byron Young and Kobe Turner. They have playmakers. They have young players, and they have good coaching, and it's all that matters. It's just they're very frustrating. Like last year, they turned it on pretty late too. They won 7 of 8. But this year it feels even later. We're in week 14, and they finally got their first record over 500 today.
yeah,
Week
yeah.
14. What
Well,
the
to
hell?
your point, I mean, they started 1-4, and they're 6-2 now since. So, I mean, now they're
It's
seven.
weird
Yeah,
because it doesn't feel that way because they
right.
barely beat the
Yeah,
Raiders, barely beat the
yeah,
Patriots, barely beat the Saints. So we just when we want to count out this damn team, they wait till week 14, Buffalo rise, and they smack them. So
yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah, and this is what, people have been asked, or, where this was the expectation was, hey, you're gonna need your offense to, outscore teams, and because your young defense isn't gonna be able to keep up with some of these teams, and that's exactly what we saw. And then the other thing is, it shows you if all these guys are healthy, what they're capable of. I mean, and they haven't even gotten Tyler Higbee back, which he's
Yeah,
starting to fully
good
practice
point.
now. You might see him on Thursday night against the 49ers. And so, I mean, and then the other thing that was I thought it was impressive, and the reason they won this game is the time of possession, Gilbert, was 38-30 to 21-30. I mean, they almost doubled the time of possession in this game. There was only a total of 5 punts in this game. I mean, it was an offense of onslaught on in I thought the most impressive stat, if I'm being completely honest, was the Rams started 10 of 11 on third down and finished 11 of 15. And I mean, the stats that Stafford had on third down were really impressive. So all around, this was what we expected from this offense, and they finally showed up, and they did it against a really good team. And shout out to Eric Williams. I'll keep saying it because he's the one. I know he has a bet with Danny Dago, but he did pick the Rams to win this game. He was the only person that I know of that picked this because
Nice.
Fernando, you and myself did not pick the Rams to win this game.
Yeah. So again, I've been saying the joke here that I'm glad I wasn't on for the Wednesday preview because I would have been super negative. I just thought this team,
Yeah,
I was really losing my patience with this team. I even went on a couple of radio shows and I said, don't trust this team. Like
yeah,
the team that you saw against Philadelphia, that's probably the team you're going to see on Sunday, and that was not the case. And I think I was saying that because it was already a long sample size where they won the one ugly against bad teams on the road. That Dolphins game, I can't get it out of my mind. I will now
yeah,
because they beat Buffalo, but
right.
and the way they got worked by Philly, man, that kind of tells me like, what have they done since week 8 when they beat the Minnesota Vikings? So, yeah, we could say every week is different, but for like 5, 6 weeks in a row, they were telling us who they are. They're a mediocre team with a bunch of issues defensively, and they can't figure out offensively. Now, here's the thing: where you don't want to fall in trouble. Yeah, you got up for a big game. Yeah, you have playing motivation to win the NFC West, but it was again one game. Can you be consistent? Can you go Thursday night on a short week and beat the 49ers? So, let's give credit to the 49ers. They finally turned it around. They beat down a terrible Chicago Bears team. So that could be a very good game on Thursday. Can you light up that defense too? We'll see if Nick Bosa plays in that one. But it's not an easy victory. And I know they beat them at their house at SoFi, but try beating them at Levi Stadium. That's a whole different story. I want to say it might be like a string of a losing streak there at Levi's. I can't remember the last time they won there. It
Well,
could be last.
they won remember, they won that
Oh
Carson
yeah,
Wentz game.
That
up
didn't count.
there.
But yeah,
So yeah, I
yeah, that
know.
throwaway game there.
Yeah, week
But
18
yeah,
last season.
I want to say they lost in 22. They
Yeah,
probably
before then it was like a long losing streak, and now they've won
yeah.
2 in a row against the 49ers. If you count that Carson Wentz
Yeah, it's
game.
kind of like when people try to tell me, "Oh yeah, the Chargers are beating the Chiefs at Arrowhead." I'm like, "Yeah, when they rest everybody." But
Yeah,
we'll find out today for that matchup.
yeah,
But yeah, Victor, I'll let you talk to the comments here, and
yeah.
because a lot of people have a lot of things to say. But hey, I was wrong, and I'm glad I was wrong. It makes things exciting here at House of Horns, and it was a pretty good victory.
Yeah, I just want to go through these comments real quick before you go. I know you just give me a couple more minutes and I'll let you go. Mike Armenta said, "I told you guys he did call the win here. He mentioned what they needed to do. So shout out to him. He really gave us some good keys there, and that was certainly part of the keys that won them this game." Deborah says, "I've been saying it. Wait till our varsity shows up. Still defensive errors, but the Rams showed the will to win. Brady's experience." Made the game enjoyable, run the division, and put Cuernos. Did you listen at all to Brady's? The one thing was he kept saying A plus throw, which kind of was like at the end of it, I was just like, okay, guy, like just change it up a little bit. But yeah, we get it.
He's
They're
trying
really
really
good
hard
throws by
to
both guys.
show excitement. I think he's
Yeah,
not being himself, and I think
yeah,
he cares so much about what people are saying right now. But yeah.
yeah. He is a little. He does look a little bit like a robot. And sounds like one. Willie Bones says LA Rams win, but they have to maintain the big lead on the scoreboard. So,
Mhm.
yep. Davis says any given Sunday. Jerry Guevara says potential is there. 2 years of rebuilders. We need a DB closer, and I think you're gonna get that next season. You won't see that this. I think they're doing their best they can with the talent that they have defensively. Super Bowl definitely belongs in the NFC this season. No one on the AFC scares me.
I could
What do you?
agree to that. Going to our
Yeah,
conversation earlier, where I don't even
yeah,
know who to pick, or do we even care in the AFC because of
yeah,
the three mighty teams over in the NFC, and then maybe the Rams too. I might add them a
yeah.
little later.
I'm gonna say that. Like, I mean, you don't want to face this team, especially the way they look today. You don't want to face them in the playoffs. Actually,
Hmm.
and if they win the division, they're gonna host a playoff game at SoFi. So that's another thing. And then you're just hoping that some of these teams beat up on each other on the other side. We saw the Bucks. They're now 7-6, I believe, and now they're in first place in the NFC South. So it's going to be a race between the NFC South and the NFC West as to who gets the third and fourth seeds.
Yeah, I'm starting to believe in the Seahawks. I'm giving them respect. That I don't know if they just have Kyler Murray's number, and that's why they look good because they beaten him twice in the past 3 weeks. I know it's not a conversation for that right now, but I think I'm starting to give up on Kyler Murray as a franchise quarterback. But Mike
Yeah.
McDonald has made a lot of quarterbacks look pretty bad since the bye week. Or I think Ernest Jones got an interception today.
Yep.
But it's all shaping up to be a good matchup there in Week 18. But uh, yeah, I think put it this way. I think the Seahawks and the Rams are better than the Falcons and the Buccaneers. If we're going off of that for division, so maybe the NFC West does get the number 3 seed there, which would probably give you the Packers. So it's not really that good, or even
Or
then
the
if
Vikings.
you're the
Yeah.
4 seed, you get the Vikings. I don't think the Packers are going to catch up to the Vikings or the Lions here. So they're kind of penciled into number 6. If you won't get to number 2 though. So you're going to face somebody in the NFC South because I don't think the Rams or the Seahawks will get to number 2 to face the Commanders here. But also we can't count out the Commanders. I mean, we can't count out the possibility of the Commanders fading and then also getting the wild card spot there to maybe face the number 2 seed and be the number 7 seed. But again, if the Rams just win out, man, that's the easy way to do it. Beat the 49ers, beat the Jets, beat the Cardinals, and beat the Seahawks, and you're in.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. I was going to stay on Gilbert, and we have more comments, but I think this is where we're going to end the show today. We're going to keep it short and sweet. Good win for the Rams here, and now things are set up for them. They're one game behind Seattle for the division, and then they have the tiebreaker as of right now because they beat them there. So as we said, it's probably going to come down to that final week of that final game of the season. But good win for the Rams here. I wouldn't say it was a must win, but a good win at home against a good Bills team.
Yeah, and this would be my final thoughts. Like as a preview for, or by the way, Tuesday show this week for the preview because the Rams play on Thursday night. Rams versus 49ers, a Tuesday night, probably around what 5 p.m. or 5:30 p.m. Yeah, 5:30 before we do four compas on Tuesday. But here's the thing, though. You wanted to make it a two-team race. If you lose to the 49ers on Thursday and the Seahawks lose to the Packers, now you have a third team to worry about.
Yeah.
And I guess I should give the Cardinals a little more respect. They're only one game behind, but they're really fading right now. So don't make it like a 3 or 4 team race. Like, just start narrowing down the field to 2 teams. So the Rams could win and handle business. You're looking like you're in a good spot. So I think that game's gonna be very, very crucial to set up this division race down the stretch.
Yeah, I can't wait now for Thursday because I thought the 49ers were fading too, but they woke up against a Chicago Bears team and Shanahan isn't trying to get fired. So it's going to be a good matchup on Thursday, a short week. And we've seen this Rams team win 2 games in 10 days last season, this season already, and they're going to have to do it for a third time to be able to, stay within distance of the Seahawks, Gilbert.
Yeah. So like we mentioned, definitely close out and see how they do. But is that everything, Victor?
Yeah, that's all. And we just have Adios Compa there from Delbert. I'm guessing this is a Bills fan that said they got lucky here. And then Onyx says game over. So with that game over, let's go ahead and end this show. Like I said, good win for the Rams. And now we're on to week 15, which I can't believe. And the 49ers, a big matchup on Thursday Night Football. And we'll be back on Tuesday to preview that matchup.
Yeah, that the Bills fan there probably didn't like my comments about the Bills being pretenders. But hey, a lot of football left to I guess to be determined. But the Rams gave us a lot to think about after this dominant victory, and I say dominant because they should have won by more. I don't care what the
Yeah.
final scoreboard says, 44-42, and you got 44 points on a very good team. So I say it's a signature victory, statement victory, and gave us a whole lot to think about victory. So
Yes.
shout out to the Rams fans here on House of Horns. Enjoy the victory any given Sunday. I was wrong. A lot of people were wrong besides Eric Williams. So we'll get out of here. See you Tuesday night to preview 49ers Rams Part 2 NFL Week 15, which is wild to say. But enjoy the victory and enjoy Sunday Night Football. Nos vamos, pues, vámonos.